Welcome to Diary of the Heart, and if you've never subscribed, do it right now. Because what you're about to hear in the next few minutes might be the most important thing your heart has ever tried to tell you, and you've been ignoring it without even knowing. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood up from the couch, from your desk, from the dinner table, and felt it? That sudden rush, that slight dizziness, that feeling like your heart just jumped inside your chest trying to catch up with the rest of your body? Most people feel it and say, "I got up too fast." They brush it off. They sit back down. They pour another coffee. They move on. But what if I told you that in those 3 to 5 seconds your heart wasn't malfunctioning? What if I told you it was speaking? What if those beats weren't random noise but a message, specific, urgent, biological, sent directly from the organ that has been working for you every single second of your entire life, without a single day off, without a vacation, without a complaint? Your heart chose to spend its entire existence beating for you. And right now, when you stand up, it's waving its hands, trying to get your attention. The question is, do you know what it's saying? By the end of this video, you will, and I promise you, the way you see those moments will never be the same again. Pay close attention to the last point. It's the one most cardiologists don't talk about in the office. But they should. Let's start with the science, because you deserve to understand what's actually happening inside your body. Not just what to do about it. When you're sitting or lying down, your blood settles. Gravity does what gravity does. It pulls roughly half a liter of your blood down into the veins of your legs and your abdomen. Your body adapts. Your heart finds its rhythm. Everything is calm. Everything is stable. Your cardiovascular system is resting in a kind of quiet agreement with the world around it. And then you stand up. In that single moment, everything changes. Gravity shifts the distribution. That blood that was nicely distributed through your body suddenly wants to pool. In your legs, in your pelvis, away from your heart, away from your brain. Your blood pressure, if left unmanaged, would drop. Your brain would receive less oxygen. You would feel it immediately. But here's where your heart becomes a hero. Within milliseconds, not seconds, milliseconds, your nervous system sends a signal. Your heart receives it. And your heart responds. It speeds up. It increases its rate. It compensates for the sudden gravitational shift by pumping faster and harder, so that blood continues to reach your brain without interruption. This is called the orthostatic response, and it is one of the most sophisticated, fast, and elegant survival mechanisms in the human body. Normally, the heart rate increases by about 10 to 20 beats per minute when you stand. You might feel it slightly, but within 30 seconds to a minute, everything stabilizes. Your vascular system adjusts. Your blood pressure normalizes. Your heart settles back into its resting rhythm, and you move on with your day. This is what a healthy, well-trained response looks like. And it happens billions of times across a human lifetime, silently, perfectly, without you ever noticing. But sometimes, for reasons that are deeply important, this response doesn't work the way it should. And that is when your heart starts speaking louder. That is when the message becomes urgent. That is when you need to stop, listen, and understand. The first thing your heart is trying to tell you when it races upon standing is this. Your autonomic nervous system may be under stress. Here's what most people do. They stand up, feel the rush, and assume they're just tired or dehydrated. They reach for water, maybe a snack. They wait a minute. They move on. But science tells a different story. The autonomic nervous system, the part of your nervous system that controls all the things your body does without you asking it to, your heartbeat, your digestion, your breathing, has 2 major branches. The sympathetic system, which activates you, prepares you for action, speeds things up. And the parasympathetic system, which calms you down, slows things down, restores balance. When your heart races upon standing more than it should, it can be a sign that the balance between these 2 systems is disrupted. That your sympathetic system is chronically activated, that your body is living in a low-grade state of alert, as if there's danger nearby, even when you're just getting up to make lunch. This is called autonomic dysregulation, and it's far more common than most people realize. Chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammation, anxiety, long periods of physical inactivity, all of these can tip the balance, and your heart, your faithful, tireless partner, absorbs every single consequence. Think about what that means. Your heart is not just a pump. It is a mirror. It reflects the state of your nervous system, and when it races upon standing, it might be telling you, the world you're living in right now is too fast, too loud, too unrelenting, and I need you to hear that. The practical thing you can do right now is this. Before you stand up tomorrow morning, before you swing your legs over the edge of the bed, pause. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Exhale longer than you inhale. Let your parasympathetic system activate. Let your body prepare for the transition. This is not weakness. This is intelligence. This is giving your heart the runway it needs to land smoothly instead of slamming into a wall. The second thing your heart is trying to tell you is this. You may not be hydrated the way you think you are. Most people operate at a chronic low level of dehydration, not the dramatic kind, not the kind that sends you to the emergency room, the subtle kind, the kind that accumulates quietly over days and weeks because coffee replaced water, because you were busy, because you forgot, because nobody reminded you. Here's what dehydration does to your cardiovascular system. When your blood volume is low, when there simply isn't enough fluid in your circulatory system, your heart has to work harder to compensate. When you stand up and that blood pools in your lower body, a well-hydrated system has enough volume to maintain pressure and flow. A dehydrated system doesn't. It struggles. It compensates by accelerating the heart rate more dramatically. It takes longer to stabilize. And you feel it. There's a chemical dimension here too. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, the electrolytes that govern how fluid moves in and out of your cells. When these are out of balance, your heart's electrical system feels it. The sinoatrial node, which is the natural pacemaker of your heart, depends on these minerals to fire its signals correctly and rhythmically. Without them, the rhythm becomes less stable. The response becomes less elegant. The message becomes louder. Your heart, when it beats harder and faster as you rise, might simply be saying, "Give me what I need to do my job. Hydrate me. Mineralize me. Respect the biochemistry of the body we share." The exercise here is simple but non-negotiable. Before you do anything else in the morning, before your phone, before your coffee, before your emails, drink 2 full glasses of water. Add a small pinch of sea salt and a few drops of lemon. This is not a health trend. This is basic fluid intelligence. Your heart will feel the difference within days. The third message is one that requires you to sit with some vulnerability, because it's about your heart in a different sense, the emotional one. And these two, the biological and the emotional, are more connected than modern medicine has traditionally acknowledged. Research in psychocardiology, the field that studies the relationship between emotional experience and cardiovascular function, has shown something remarkable. Chronic emotional stress doesn't just live in your mind. It physically alters the way your heart behaves. It changes heart rate variability. It affects the thickness of arterial walls. It influences how the autonomic nervous system responds to everyday challenges like, yes, standing up. There is a biological anchor between your emotional state and your cardiovascular response. When you carry unprocessed grief, unexpressed anger, suppressed anxiety, or the quiet exhaustion of always being strong for everyone else, your heart carries it too. Not metaphorically, literally, in its tissue, in its electrical patterns, in the way it responds to the simple act of rising to your feet. This is what scientists call the chemical signature of emotion. Every emotional state you experience releases a specific cocktail of neurochemicals into your bloodstream. Cortisol, adrenaline, oxytocin, serotonin. Your heart bathes in all of them. It is the organ most directly downstream of your emotional brain. It does not have the luxury of separating feeling from function. When your heart races upon standing, part of the story might be, you are carrying too much. And the weight is biological now, not just psychological. The practice here is not comfortable, but it is necessary. At least once this week, find 10 minutes of true silence. No phone, no background noise, no productivity. Sit with your hand on your chest. Breathe, and ask yourself honestly, what am I carrying right now that I haven't allowed myself to feel? Name it. You don't have to solve it. Just name it. Because your heart has been holding it quietly, and it needs to know that you finally see it. The fourth message your heart may be sending is one that many people fear to hear, but that ultimately is a gift. You may need to move more, not more intensely, more consistently. Deconditioning. The gradual loss of cardiovascular fitness that happens when we sit for long hours, when we live mostly sedentary lives, when we prioritize everything else over movement, has a direct impact on the orthostatic response. A deconditioned cardiovascular system is a less responsive one. The heart hasn't been trained to handle the demands of quick transitions. It hasn't been challenged enough to develop the neural efficiency required to regulate pressure quickly when you stand. Here is the scientific reality. The human body is not designed for the way most people live today. It was built for movement, prolonged, varied, unpredictable movement. Walking, running, climbing, crouching, rising. The cardiovascular system was designed to be challenged regularly so that it could handle challenges gracefully. When we remove those challenges, the system gradually loses its precision, its responses become slower, its corrections become clumsier, and simple everyday acts, like standing up, begin to feel like events. But here is the extraordinary thing about your heart. It is profoundly, almost impossibly adaptive. Studies show that even moderate exercise, walking 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, begins to improve heart rate variability, orthostatic tolerance, and autonomic balance within weeks, not months, weeks. Your heart is always ready to rebuild. It never gives up on you even when you've neglected it for years. This is the biological imperative your heart is pointing to when it races upon standing. Train me. Challenge me. Give me the regular work I was designed for and watch how quickly I respond. The exercise, literal this time, is to begin tomorrow. Not a program, not a gym membership, just a walk. Consistent, daily, non-negotiable. Your heart will begin its reply immediately. And now we arrive at the final point, the one I promised you, the one that matters most. Because everything we've talked about, the nervous system, the hydration, the emotional weight, the physical conditioning, all of it is a conversation. And the most important thing you need to understand about your heart is that it has been trying to have this conversation with you for a very long time. There is a condition called POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where the heart rate upon standing increases by 30 or more beats per minute, and the symptoms become debilitating. Dizziness, fatigue, brain fog, fainting. It affects millions of people, and for many of them, it went unrecognized for years. Not because the signs weren't there, but because nobody taught them to listen. There are also simpler, more common conditions: anemia, low blood pressure, thyroid dysfunction, medication side effects, all of which can amplify the orthostatic response and deserve medical attention. If your heart races dramatically when you stand, if you feel faint, if the symptoms are persistent or worsening, please see a doctor. Get an evaluation. Ask for a tilt table test if needed. Advocate for your heart the way it has always advocated for you. But beyond the clinical, there is something deeper here, something I want you to carry with you from this video. Your heart has been beating since before you were born. It started around 3 weeks after conception. Before you had a brain capable of thought, before you had a face, before you had a name. It has never missed a single beat in your entire life. It has pumped your blood through grief and joy and fear and love and ordinary Tuesday afternoons. It has adapted, compensated, recovered, and continued through everything. And when it races as you rise, it is not breaking. It is not failing. It is communicating. It is doing what it has always done, responding to the world, working to keep you upright, working to keep you alive, and asking, quietly, for you to pay attention. Every small act of care you give your heart, the morning breath before you rise, The glass of water before the coffee, the 10 minutes of honest silence, the daily walk, the moment you sit with your hand on your chest and say, "I hear you." These are not just health habits. They are deposits in an account of trust, a trust that has been open since the very first moment you came into existence. Your heart didn't choose to beat for you because it had to. It beat because that's what hearts do. They commit completely. They don't hold back. They don't take days off. They give everything every day without asking for anything in return. The least we can do is listen. So the next time you stand up and feel that rush, don't brush it off. Don't chalk it up to getting up too fast. Take one breath, place one hand on your chest, and acknowledge what's happening. Your heart, your oldest companion, is trying to tell you something, and now you know how to hear it. This is Diary of the Heart. If this video changed something in the way you see your body, share it with someone you love. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because we're just getting started. The heart has so many more things to say, and we're going to be here to translate every single one of them. Take care of your heart. It chose you.